What if one single race had the power to completely flip the entire championship standings upside down? The Kansas race is finally, and the competition is going to be absolutely intense with top-tier drivers like Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, and Christopher Bell all gearing up for what promises to be an incredible battle on the track. Every single lap is going to matter, every pit stop is going to count, and one wrong move could cost a driver everything they've been working toward this season. But the real question that every NASCAR fan is asking right now is, who is actually going to take that checkered flag when it is all said and done? Stick around until the very end, because the final prediction might genuinely catch you off guard. Today we are diving deep into absolutely everything you need to know about the upcoming Kansas NASCAR race. Officially known as the Advent Health 400, one of the most anticipated events on the entire Cup Series calendar this year. We're going to break down exactly why this race carries so much weight in the overall season, which drivers you absolutely need to keep your eyes on throughout the entire event, what specific track characteristics could end up deciding who crosses the finish line first, and of course the big final prediction that everyone has been waiting for. There's a lot to get through, so let us jump straight into it without wasting another second. Kansas Speedway is not just another stop on the schedule. It is one of those rare tracks where raw speed, pit road strategy, and precise timing all come together in a way that makes for genuinely spectacular racing from start to finish. This particular race carries enormous significance in the context of the 2026 season because it comes immediately after an incredibly high-intensity and physically demanding event at Bristol, which means drivers are carrying both momentum and fatigue into this weekend at the same time. Momentum is everything at this point in the season, and the drivers who can string together back-to-back strong performances are the ones who will put themselves in serious championship. A powerful finish at Kansas can provide a massive boost in both confidence and points, while a poor result here can genuinely set a driver back and create problems that are very difficult to recover from as the season progresses. Kansas Speedway is a 1.5-mile tri-oval facility, and that specific configuration brings a very unique set of challenges and opportunities that separate it from other tracks on the Cup Series schedule. The high speeds that this track naturally generates, combined with the presence of multiple viable racing lines across the surface, create a tremendous number of overtaking opportunities that keep the action exciting for fans throughout the entire race distance. However, here's where things get genuinely interesting from a strategic standpoint. Tire degradation and management become absolutely critical factors the longer the race goes on, and teams that underestimate this element tend to pay a very heavy price. Drivers who push their cars to the absolute limit in the early stages might find themselves struggling badly in the closing laps when it matters most, which means this race is never simply about who has the fastest car on any given lap. Smart, calculated racing combined with excellent communication between driver and crew chief is going to be just as important as outright speed when the final laps arrive. Kyle Larson enters this weekend as arguably the most dangerous competitor in the field when it comes to intermediate tracks like Kansas Speedway, because his driving style and his ability to manage a car over long runs are both perfectly suited to what this track demands from a competitor. He is aggressive when the situation calls, remarkably smooth when tire conservation becomes the priority, and his ability to control race pace from the front means that if he manages to establish himself in clean air early in the going, he becomes an extremely difficult driver for anyone else to challenge. Denny Hamlin, on the other hand, represents a completely different kind of threat, one that is built not on raw qualifying speed, but on race day intelligence and the kind of strategic thinking that has made him one of the most consistently dangerous drivers in the sport over the course of his entire career. He may not always lead the most laps or put up the most impressive practice, but when the final stage reaches its closing laps and the pressure is at its absolute highest, Hamlin has a remarkable ability to find himself exactly where he needs. Christopher Bell has been delivering a level of consistency throughout the 2026 season that has not always generated massive headlines, but has absolutely kept him in contention week after week. And Kansas Speedway could genuinely be the venue where he puts everything together for a dominant performance that nobody can ignore. Then there is Ty Gibbs, who arrives at Kansas carrying significant momentum and attention following his recent victory. And the central question surrounding him right now is whether that one represented a genuine breakthrough moment or whether it was an isolated result on a favorable day. This race could provide a very clear answer to that question one way or another. Pittsburgh road strategy is going to play an enormous role in determining the outcome of the race, because a perfectly executed sequence of stops can gain multiple positions in an instant, while a single error from any member of the pit crew can destroy a race that was otherwise going beautifully. Tire wear is the second major variable that every team is going to be monitoring extremely closely, because the drivers who arrive at the final restart with fresher rubber than their competitors will have a significant and potentially decisive advantage when it comes to the sprint to the difference between running in clean air at the front of the field versus fighting through heavy traffic further back is massive at Kansas, because dirty air affects aerodynamic downforce and makes the car considerably more difficult to drive consistently, which accelerates tire wear and puts drivers in an increasingly difficult position. Late race restarts at Kansas Speedway have historically been the moments where races are won and lost, and the driver who can execute the perfect restart, protect their line, and make one decisive move at exactly the right moment is often the one who ends up celebrating in victory, the moment everyone has been building toward. Who is actually going to win the Advent Health 400 at Kansas Speedway? The predicted race winner is Kyle Larson, based on his exceptional track record at intermediate facilities, his current form, and the way his driving style naturally aligns with everything that Kansas demands from a competitor at the highest level. The dark horse pick to seriously challenge for the win is Christopher Bell, who has the consistency, the team support, and the Rasek craft to put together a complete performance on a day when everything clicks for him. The wild card element that could genuinely change the entire complexion of the race is Ty Gibbs, because if the momentum from his recent victory carries forward and the conditions suit him, he is absolutely capable of making this a three-way fight for the lead in the closing. If Larson gets to the front and controls the race on his own terms, he is the clear favorite and will be very difficult to beat. But if the race turns chaotic with multiple restarts and unexpected incidents, then Bell or Gibbs could absolutely steal the victory in a finish that nobody saw coming. That covers everything you need to know heading into the Kansas NASCAR race, from the track characteristics and strategic factors all the way through the key drivers to watch and the final prediction for who is going to win. Now, the question is, who do you think is going to take the victory at Kansas Speedway? Drop your predictions and thoughts in the comment section below, because the conversation there is always genuinely